My name is Rajesh Jha. I welcome you all for our program on introduction of our Internet of Things and Center of Excellence program. We Delsoft are basically a software solution provider company based out of Delhi. We have a couple of softwares which we generally promote in academia. One of the software is Dixalent Power Factory, which is for power system simulation software. Other is Automation Studio software. Third is the Home and Microgrid software. Fourth product which we have come across is IoT and CoE program, which recently we have had a tie-up with the RDL technology based out of Bangalore. So we have taken up this product for marketing in academia in India. Moving forward, you might be aware of about the Delsoft company. We are here since 2014, 2004. Rather. Screen is white. We established in 2004 and promoting various kind of software solution to academia. Almost 300 plus customer and 200 plus customer academic university across India. We have with us RDL team also. So I also like to introduce you and hand over the proceedings to them. So I welcome you, Mr. Ramachandra Gopalakrishnan and Mr. Ramachandra Sethi, sir. Mr. Gopalakrishnan is an alumni of IIT Kharagpur and IIM Ahmedabad. So he'll be talking about this product and the solution further. Just one sec, let me hand over this to Gopalakrishnan, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Rajeshji. Thank you so much for the nice introduction.
Sir, I'm making you host now, so you can take over and start your proceedings, sir.
My honor and pleasure.
Thanks, sir.
You have not yet made me.
Okay, just. Your host now, sir.
Okay, it's not yet coming to me. So am I audible?
Yes. Yes.
Thank you so much. And is the screen visible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. 2 o'clock in the afternoon can be challenging for many, but it's part of the 24 hours. We need to work on that as well, if it is challenging. Okay. Just wanted to tell you that, you can see the two jargons used on the screen right now, CoE and IoT. A lab is not a jargon. It's a pretty old thing, right, coming from my childhood. Center of Excellence and Internet of Things. Internet of Things has now become more or less, to use the typical North slang, gisapita, very common kind of thing. Center of Excellence is still a buzzword in the industry. Now, RDL Technologies. Our journey started in 2016, very focused on electronic-based, state-of-the-art, embedded systems, Internet of Things, mainly industry, automation. These were the focus of the company. Believe you me, when you're talking about industry automation, your competitors are people like Mitsubishi and all. And if the factory is too small, they don't want any automation. So going through that cycle of, and when you go and start competing with an organization like, a Japanese organization of the fame like Mitsubishi and all, it's very difficult from the Indian perspective. It is this journey that RDL undertook. And as I can say proudly, that today we have installed some of our solutions in some of the A-League companies in their production shop floors, deriving active information for managing, monitoring, and optimizing the production. This is just on the automation side. Why I raise this point is primarily because Internet of Things cannot be taken on a standalone mode. It has to be clubbed and has to be integrated with some kind of innovation and centers of and an excellence path route. It's not a standard thing. It's an ongoing developing stuff which is coming about. So when we are talking about academia, when you're talking about institution, what we are primarily looking at is, setting up of the lab to make sure that the students are able to do in a flexible mode real-time projects. Real-time projects, some of the projects where, obviously we would be sharing with the students the kind of journey we undertook. As I go through the presentation, you will know what I'm talking about right now. So a 30-member concentrated, powerful team, multiple patents achieved. Needless to say, the bottom part of the central part of the slide is the recognition in some of the forums that where we participated with our products. One of our product, or in fact many of our products, are today almost used everywhere, not only in India, also in other countries. When I say product, again, the product as a word itself is a very loosely used word, and in electronics it means a lot of things. It means a lot of certifications. It means a lot of quality assurance phenomena, and then when you are talking about warranty, etc., it also means much more. It has to work all the time, first time and all the time. So when you're talking about a product company, so this is what should come in your mind, and I think this is what we would like to share with our partners in the academia as to how we went about it, how we went about learning to build a quality assured, stable product which can run first time and every time. So therefore, Center of Excellence, mandatory along with Internet of Things. So there will be a lot of projects which will happen concurrently on the Internet of Things, and where, it's not just a project where, you clubbed one bulb and, you clubbed one mobile and you clubbed it to a cloud and, you made the bulb glow. That's just a starting point. Because we still are going to, when we're setting up a lab, we're talking about things like, how do you pursue research and development? How do you pursue deep dive? It's a very commonly used jargon in the industry. Deep dive. Do we know how to deep dive? And believe you me, once you learn how to deep dive, you will be able to use it in all situations. You'll always be able to deep dive and, try to get the solution out. So you will not be, complacent with just one bulb glowing. You will go much more than that. And proof of the pudding is when I go through this, we started working on Li-Fi, light-based data communication. And right now we are talking to some medical fraternity. See, all the doctors use stethoscope and they put it on your body, and then it's basically after that what happens? They are just trying to sense the frequency of something that is happening inside. So now we are trying to see, because this breakthrough will be great, it will be absolutely, setting apart a new area in the remote medical rendering. Because that was a big problem. People were only talking about, let me capture the data at remote points and send the data to a centralized hospital where an expert will start looking at it. It need not be like that. So when I'm taking time here, because I wanted that the concept of center of excellence along with IoT gets absorbed. And that's where RDL will play a role. So why I am trying to say that, our involvement with the academia will be to share our learning and also guide the students, sorry, if they want to, not forcibly, if they want to be guided, and guide them into coming out with some innovation. Of course, any innovation that is done will be part of the college, not us. Last but not the least, once a student works in this kind of a model, understands that, when I do a lab experiment, I need to deep dive and go into the next step, ready for the deep understanding of the subject matter. And therefore, he will be able to perform, and he will be able to perform well in his interview to least mention, and of course, for going abroad and taking up entrepreneurship or any other things. So once the deep diving and knowledge acquisition process is set on in the minds of the students, I think we would have achieved 60-70% of the race, winning the race. Needless, what we have done in setting up of this. See, an electronics company building up an IoT solution for setting up of a lab and center of excellence included in it. We have always obviously spent time to look at the curriculum. It's not something out of our own hats. It's come from the IoT curriculum and everything that is specified by the AICTE, I think, etc. So we have looked into that and built the course curriculum accordingly. I'm sure most of the colleges today are very actively and very, very supportively encouraging innovation community and entrepreneur ecosystems. This will only add value to that. This is like more or less, one is trying to show the same thing in a different way, whether it's, robotics, automotive, machine learning, artificial. Oh, these are again two beautiful jargons which are very, 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 very active and very prevalent in the industry now. AI and ML and deep learning and, fair enough. I mean, IT industry has always been like that. It was always like, earlier people used to call it MRP, ERP, then it went on to various things, then, So this will happen. So anyone who is in technology space has to be sensitive to this. And you have to be part of an ecosystem where you are able to continuously learn, deep dive, and go forward. Access to internet is one beautiful thing that is there for everyone to know what's happening in the world. So, you are not dependent on somebody to give you that information that this is what is happening. However, having said that, There is so much of information available, so oftentimes you are lost. So an environment like this will, channelize and, through certain things like, we will have some workshops and some webinars for the students. We will try to bring in the latest that is happening across the world so that students know how much more they have to run. Okay, so once they go through the lab, what are they going to gain out of it? Obviously, no gain, no interest. Gain, of course, is going to be in terms of, understanding the entire R&D process, design option, merit analysis, proof of concept to product, hardware and software integration, and last but not the least, the product realization. Yes, there would be usage of multiple advanced tools in the entire process, so that experience in terms of, product architecturing, component selection, etc., and of course testing and other things are taken care. Full stack development experience can be achieved by students if they put their heart on it. Last point, I really don't touch this point because once they do this, employability should not be an issue. I mean, don't think that, you do this, therefore you will get employed. If you do this, if you have learned the deep diving, and if you have got a handle on the subject matter, this is a line where humongous opportunities available across the world, whether it is AI or IoT or ML or deep learning or anything, hardware or software or both. So it's up to you how much you want to deep dive, how much you want to acquire. We are here as RDL. We will share with you our 2016 onwards journey. And there are a lot of experts who have been working on this for a long time. Leverage that and build yourself. Okay, the research areas where you can possibly use the IoT lab could be factory automation and data analytics that I talked about. It's a beautiful area, beautiful area. Machine conditioning monitoring. This can be right from the ACs in your colleges to, to anything else. How do you monitor the condition of a particular thing? Many institutions as well as offices and colleges use backup power options. Hardly anyone monitors it. It needs to be monitored. Energy automation, environmental monitoring. Now there are people talking about, how you can set up some sensor-based system at home so that you can measure the AQI index. I don't know how many of us, I don't have it at home, but yes, it can be done. Yes, it also has to get synchronized with many more things. So there we come to the Iot Smart Hospital. So multiple things have been done, will be done in making hospitals really smart. I'm not talking about only, registering and getting the appointment for the doctor and, booking of a room. That's the hotel management system. Much more than that. Sharing of the results, sharing of the reports. These are all has to be automated. So it is being done in many hospitals, but it's still in a fairly nascent area in India and many of the hospitals. Smart farming. Oh my God, this area, I must tell you that, it's still a very virgin area. People have not even scratched the little bit of surface. I'm sorry. Soil data. There are some sensors available to measure that. There are so many variables, and it's a natural process which you are monitoring. Humongous opportunity. There's one engineering college very close to us in Mangalore, near Mangalore. They are really looking at it for their area. It's somewhere near Gulbarga. So understand one thing here, it is not just an IoT knowledge. It's not just IoT knowledge. It's not just IoT knowledge. There is a subject matter understanding. And this is where the IT industry has always found a lacuna. The guy who's an expert in the IT systems is invariably not sensitive to the subject matter expertise. So therefore, you always get suboptimal solutions. But today's younger generation understands this gap, and many of the people who are today who have built up environmental monitoring systems for the UN, people who have built up very good, not hospital but healthcare management systems for the WHO. These are all absolutely IT experts who have put their head down to understand the subject matter. Of course, they have a subject matter expert to work with, but it is they who will understand and then translate that into the system. Mark my words, people who are in this space where they get their subject matter expertise as well, besides the IoT expertise, are going to be ruling the world. These are other many more systems you can add on to this list. I've just put few of them for the dimensional restrictions that I have on a slide. Now, what is IoT lab going to be like? Yes, there are going to be trainer kits. I'll come to it in detail. Within the lab itself, we will have a IoT platform setup, a server PC with various things in it, which is mentioned here. We will also be giving 10 plus differential industrial IoT use case HMIs, 5 plus data analytics based IoT applications, and 5 plus AI based IoT application. Why are we giving this? So that the students can know how does it really work in the commercial world, and they can build on from there so that their projects also come to some level of commercial acceptance. In addition to that, we have certain other things given here. Most important, I would like to draw your attention is to the middle one, which is the real-time IoT model. One of the models, whichever you may choose, we will set it up in your lab so that students can see an entire project fully. Before I go to the kit, which is the heart of the system, this is also the heart plus of the system. So the server which is set up within your lab will act like an IoT platform, which will be accessed by the various toolkits which will be there in the lab. This connects you to through the RDL gateway to the main server and allows you to access various other solutions as well. This server itself has got various business applications and other things so that you can work along with SCADA clients and other things, and it has got a specific gateway. This server is a unique deliverables from RDL in the lab setup. Now, I'm going to request my colleague, Mr. Ramchandra Shetty, to look into this details of the development kit. Rama, are you there?
Yes, sir. I'm here, sir.
So this is what I was talking about, 30 people. We started in 2016. We have multiple patents and many recognition that has happened to us. We have based our R&D center as well as the production is in Mangalore. We are really looking at an R&D development and an orientation towards excellence in terms of innovation, etc., coming about, not just setting up of an IoT lab. And when we are talking about a lab, what we are really looking at is people to, stretch themselves beyond just doing an experiment and, go into the deep diving mode so that they can build up their deep learning of the subject matter as well as, their entrepreneurial qualities. And the entire thing has been set up in, taking into account the IoT curriculum that is available all across the country and in consonance with AICTE requirements. So, we will be facilitating some of the students if they are really wanting to translate their ideas into products. It's not an easy journey. It's a tough journey, but we will share with them our learning. So besides the other jargons, there is machine learning, artificial intelligence, etc., are all embedded. These are not separately from anything else. It all depends on how much you want to deep dive. You want to do AI based, you want to do ML, and you want to do deep learning. It's all entirely up to you how much more deep you want to dive. Of course, there are various benefits in this. The entire R&D process, proof of concepting, etc., will be clear in the minds of the students. They will be handling multiple, complicated tools in the entire process, and they will have a good knowledge and experience of the full stack development. Not last but not the least, of course, this should translate into good amount of facilitation in the employability. There are various kinds of research lab, research projects that can be done in terms of areas, factory automation, machine conditioning, and IoT for smart farming. I spoke more about IoT smart farming because it's still an area where a lot of work needs to be done. Healthcare services, of course, is also another area where a lot of work needs to be done. So there we come to our lab where we have IoT trainer kits, a server PC, which is our unique proposition. And we will also be giving quite a lot of things that we have already developed in terms of various industrial IoT use case HMIs and data analytics models, as well as AI-based IoT applications. In addition to that, we will set up one full real-time IoT model in the lab. Why? Because the student should know what does it really entail when you're trying to do a commercial project. This is the platform where we will set up. So it is not something that you have to go outside the lab. So more or less everything that is required is there within the lab itself in the server, and everything is put in here so that students can access it. Now we are on the Rama, are we with this right slide now?
Yes, sir, we are.
Okay, finally.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Sir, myself, Ramchandra Shetty here. So here we are keeping in the IoT in mind, and we have developed a IoT Development Kit. Actually, it's completely for the IoT CoE itself. We have designed. In this board, we have many functions we have given. So we have very much expertise in this IoT CoE labs, and also we have designed this complete product. Actually, in this product, it supports up to 300 plus IoT experiments. Actually, many type of experiments. Whatever Gopala Krishna sir has explained, these all experiments you can try it out in the single board itself. It has a onboard OTA programming as well, so that wherever you are, you can program this board remotely as well. It's on board also available, and OTA programming also available. So it's a plug and play interface connectivity actually. So when we gone for the labs and all students or anyone, they are using these kits, no. So they are commonly they are making the mistakes like ground and VCC connection mistakes and all. So keep it in this and mind. So we have designed with the directly FRC connectivity, so that directly you can connect the FRC to whatever you want. You wanted LCD, you wanted a keypad. If you connect the directly, so it will be directly when you roll the program, to come it output will be coming like that, so that there is no connectivity issue will be there in this. So we have taken that this also in the board. Professional EMI RFI compliant PCB layout design. It's completely the complaint-free boards actually. Modular block design make easy access and quick prototyping, whatever I told the same thing. So if the FRC connectivity feature minimize the connection errors. This is about the development board actually. Here we are using the ESP32 IoT Development Kit actually. Sir, can you go for the next slide? Yeah, this is the board details we are given. Here we have keep many things we have covered in the single board itself. In this board, you can see there is a power supply section will be there. After that, we have given the dip switches and all. And for the analog thing, we have given the ports and drivers also we are given in this motor drivers like L298 drivers. Relay also we have given in this SD card interface, RTC, OLED display, USB, RS232, RS485, and wireless communication for Zigbee, and ESP32 also you can use for the Wi-Fi communication, LCD 2x16 LCD, 7-segment display, 4x4 keypad matrix. All things we have covered in the single board itself. When you gone for the market, you will for the relay driver itself, you have to go for the separate boards. For the OLED you wanted, in the sense you have to go for the separate boards. And in this, we have all covered all the modules in the single board itself, so that easily students also, anybody hobbyist also easily can access all the functions over here. This is about the board details.
I'll play the video after this.
Yes, sir. This is one of the IoT platform. It's RDL completely IoT platform actually. So here see energy meter, sensors, all things will be there. These all things we have our own RDL edge computing gateway. So it will be work on the Modbus RTU or Modbus TCP, whatever in the HMI it will be giving the Modbus RTU output or Modbus TCP, PLC. All these, what are the outputs will be coming? OPC, UA client, TCP/IP, UDP, SNMP, CAN. These all inputs will be coming over to the RDL edge computing gateway. RDL edge computing gateway, it has a communication technology like Wi-Fi, cellular, Ethernet, and Li-Fi as well. It's a security like SSL, VPN, two-factor security. All this will be coming inbuilt in our RDL edge computing gateway. RDL edge computing gateway done all these works, and it will be sent the data in RESTful JSON format or MQTT TCP format. It will be sent it to the IoT platform. In the IoT platform, there are many functions it will be doing. Like it's our own platform actually. In this, device management, data management, business logics, analytics, security and access control, event management, API management, all these things will be doing in our IoT platform. These are two options will be coming. There is a on-premise as well as the cloud-based. On-premise in the sense we will host one server in the on-premise shop floor itself, so that in the server we will do all these functions. Or else if you wanted to send this data to cloud also, we'll be sending to the cloud. In the industry 4.0, we'll be getting that MES platform, IT, ERP software, or a mobile platform in the desktop. Anywhere you can host this software actually. Through API, we can get the API from this. Also, it will be integrated to our IoT platform. This is about our IoT solutions.
Yeah. So now I really want to show you a brief video on one of the things on the board. Is it visible?
Yeah, visible, sir. The voice is not coming actually.
Oh, the volume is not coming.
Yeah.
Now?
No, sir. It's a development board actually. So you can see that all these features, whatever I explained, everything will be showing in this video actually.
Rama, you want me to stop anywhere? Let me know.
No, sir. I explained already. It's like FRC connectivity. Okay. So through FRC, you can directly plug and play this device. So it's a OLED display. If you want to display anything, you can display. And we have given the display as this thing also LCD. And this is through app also you can control the LEDs or any motors you wanted to control through apps also you can control. It has a onboard wireless and Bluetooth facility actually. So LED functions. So 7-segment functionality. So keypads, how the keypad works. All the feasible options we have come up in the single board. It's motor drivers, driving the motor, stepper motors. So it's through app through we are controlling the lights and also normal lights. So Bluetooth app you can use and you can control the home appliances. It's all home automation kit actually. These are the HMIs.
Great. So that was Rama. Thank you so much, Rama. It was yeah. So you had an idea on the board and how we have actually utilized it. I also wanted to take this opportunity to show you two more case studies kind of stuff that we have done. One is on, you heard a word called Li-Fi, and we got some patent in that as well, which I showed you in the first slide. I want to show a brief video on that to you. Then I want to take up a case which is on smart grid based IoT solution. So let me just play this first. So can you see this? Rama, can you see it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Li-Fi.
Yes, sir. It's coming. Yeah.
Okay. So Li-Fi, as a word suggested, Wi-Fi to Li-Fi, light-based. So there is an energy, molecules, etc. We know the photons, etc. involved in it. So how we can transmit data through the light? Many applications are there. Many mission-critical applications are there where you can use this technology. Indoor data transmission, something about factories. Think about the situation in a mine. How do you think data is getting communicated within a mine? It's a large area. How do you think is data getting communicated under the water? So you just saw a small example of Li-Fi based system and how this entire thing is getting utilized in the industry, whether it is actually monitoring of the machines or various other areas. It was a path breaking for us. I have specifically brought this experiment here, not for anything else. Many of you would be definitely aware of many more things on Li-Fi than what was just shown here. Why I brought in here was see the way we have integrated various things of IoT as well as light-based communication, everything in the project. This is what I wanted to sensitize. Don't look at things as, some separate parts. So AI, ML, IoT, excellence, innovation, they all are dovetailed together. And the best place to, hatch and make this really become real is in an academic lab. And therefore, this is where we are really looking at, shaking hands with some of the academia to set up this lab. Now, I want to take you through visible. Rama, is it visible?
Yes,
Cypress?
yes, yes, yes,
I'm just checking because last time I didn't do this check and I went on for 10, 20 minutes. So, okay, thanks. So the cyber secured smart grid, we all know, and electricity is produced, substations, and from there through transformers is transferred into individual households, industrial uses, etc. Lot of theft of power, etc. happens. Monitoring of the consumption becomes a challenge. Demand supply matching becomes a big challenge many a times. Today, IoT permits you to very easily manage all this. We have specifically brought this because every smart city project has this component in it. You cannot have electricity, water, etc., not in an uncontrolled fashion, just distributed. It needs to be monitored, managed, and taken properly. Similarly, there cannot be a failure of the health of the systems, especially when it comes to electricity. You cannot have a transformer suddenly choking out. Of course, it will happen. There's nothing that you can do, but there has to be somewhere you should be able to audit and monitor the health of the assets in this entire spectrum. Then, of course, based on demand, how do you going to switch over? So therefore planning to switching to, when do you give more load to the residentials versus to the industrial? All this happens today in a fairly haphazard and uncontrolled and unmonitored way. There is no 100% accountability on the amount of power that is lost or the amount of opportunity that is lost. I have taken this case study only for everyone to understand that, when you look at an IoT or a center of IoT based project, there has to be an overall understanding of the entire thing. It is not just fixing of few electronic components. So this is how we went about here. Now you look at it, how it goes about. These are all the components of our own company, which we have used in the project. So as you can see, the power gets distributed like this. There's a transformer, substation, and lines, etc. Now see, so this is what we are monitoring: residential, commercial, industrial. You see at the middle bottom, transformer's health. This is also getting monitored. There are some sensors involved. There are certain aspects of the transformer which we are capturing on an ongoing basis. And then, of course, obviously, learning from it and also learning from data already available and trying to fix the health of the transformer and as to assess the health of the transformer. Specifically, I brought your notice to this because of monitoring of the health of the assets. So when I talk about this, it need not be only this asset. It can be any other asset which is there in a hospital or in your academic institutions. Come to the left bottom. Demand versus predictive analytics. Predictive analytics is it has been in use, this word predictive analytics, for a long time. So analytics itself is meant for what? Not for just consumption, just like that, right? Some kind of a prediction that you need to make out of based on the past data. So now we are basically looking at three kind of curves, and you know automatically. Now, unlike previous times, now in IoT, what will happen that whenever there is a demand which is much higher, you will try to see how you are going to manage that part of it. Whenever the demand is slacking in terms of supply that you are giving, you may want to promote those time slots. I'm not sure whether you know whether many of you, I'm sure many of you would be aware. In many of the countries, you are encouraged to run the washing machine system in the night. So you can do some kind of such intelligent usage, because understand one thing, once you have generated the power, if you have not consumed it, it's gone waste, unless you've gone and stored it somewhere in some battery system. So these are all the challenges. So you need to monitor and trigger more actions from this entire system, not a small system by any amount of understanding. So this is an additional piece that we have added onto the existing machines, electric meters. So we saw some of the application areas. There are many more that can be shared with you. We will do many of that when we have once we set up the lab and we have workshops for the students, etc. So that many more things can be shared with them, and our learnings and this thing can be shared as well. When we are doing a project, there was a time when we had started earlier, a PCB design, if we had to change something, we had to, really look at various solutions when we are just about started. That's when we decided PCB design will be in-house all the time. So various things are required. Quick prototyping, proof of the concept that you want to put it up. It's not easy in a typical environment. So, or you want to present your product in one of the competitions, you will require a fairly decent enclosure. So all these are additional services being in the electronic space, and an organization will be willing to extend, of course, depending on the students, not free of cost. There will be an additional cost involved in this, but yes, it will be done for the students. They can look at it as if they have a company with all these services where they can access it at a very, very nominal price. What we require is some space for the lab, and some storage space to keep the kits. Last, I need not mention. So what do we deliver? the deliverables. There will be, to initially start with, we'll have 30 kits, the server that we were talking about, the IIoT platform, which would have the 10 differential industrial IoT use cases, 5 data analyticals, IoT applications, AI-based IoT applications, and the 30 beacons and 10 access points enabled within the lab, and one full-fledged IoT working model. We will do faculty development program. We will have workshops and webinars. We may start a contest, but that's not something which we would put down. Of course, we would give a proper operational manual, which is easily readable by the students and the faculty to make sure that they don't do 300 experiments, but they do 300 plus. The entire lab will take around 2 months to be set up from the time it's gone ahead. So some of the people who are using Mangalore University, IIT Kharagpur, BITS Pilani, and some more National Institute of Technology, Karnataka. So, of course, and these are all the other organizations with whom we worked. Toyota is the factory automation that I was talking about, right? So these are all real-time systems that we are running in all these places from hardware technologies. So that more or less brings me to the end of this long session. Thank you so much. Any questions you can shoot. I will try my best to answer. Mr. Rajesh Jha, could you just take over? Mr. Rajesh Jha?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, please take over. The floor is open for questions.
Sir, we have 2 questions. If you can see the questions.
Sorry?
We have 2 questions.
Okay. Yeah, I can see the 2 questions. So what all would be included in the solution is one question, and another question is, can you share the solution availability? I will take the question one by one. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I can hear you.
So as I told you, what will it entail? So the nicer slide is this. So in a lab, you will have IoT trainer kits. You will have a server PC, which would have the IIoT platform in it. In the PC, you'll also have in the server also, you will have 10 plus different industrial IoT use case HMIs, 5 plus data analytics IoT applications, 5 plus AI based IoT applications. There will be for 10 access points control and BLE 30 beacons for gateway access, etc. So that students can access it. The 30 kids can access it. In addition to that, we will give you one full-fledged IoT model, working model. So this all together would entail the deliverables in a lab. Is that the only one? No. In addition to that, we will have workshops and webinars. We will have a proper operational manual which students can follow. I'll share with you in some of the engineering colleges recently where we have set it up. They are also using this as a extended internship setup. So many students can do their IoT internship here. How you want to charge the students, how you want to utilize, etc. Those are all we leave it to the individual institutions. I just wanted to say, because if a student wants to deep dive into this, can do it by doing a proper internship. And which kind of students? Is it going to be only electronics? Is it going to be only computer science students? No, it will be right from mechanicals, chemicals, civil, smart buildings, smart hospitals, environmental, all engineering, robotics, mechanical. So all of them will be exposed to this. So look at it when you're setting up a lab with that kind of a perspective. So this is the total deliverables, and you would really have some very interesting workshops and webinars conducted. So that's first question. So the second question is on the pricing. I'm not going to really get into the individual pricing right now, but I want to share with you that we adopt two different models. One model is where we say, okay, fine, these are all the deliverables. 30 kits, we will give it to you, and all these we will come and set it up to you in 2 months' time, and you will pay us so much money, and you will in case you want more than 30 kits, we will charge you additionally. So this is more like a CapEx model. So for you, as an institution, it's a capital asset model. We also have a very interesting another model, which is an OpEx model. In an OpEx model, we say of students which you need to ensure, which is like approximately 1,000 students across all years, across all disciplines, who register, and they pay on the basis of a per student per semester to you, and we will charge you similarly to you. So these are the two models. As far as the detailed pricing, etc., we have an expert who has already shared with you his exposure in this entire industry, with 200 plus institutions already catered to in the academic space, which is the Delsoft and Mr. Rajesh Jha, who is our partner in this entire thing, and he will do the best for your institutions, and he'll give the best price for your institution as well. So that's how I would like to handle this, Mr. Rajesh Jha. Another question, will your team run the lab, or faculty would be trained once anyone choose to set up the lab institute? Of course, we will handhold in setting up the lab. We will handhold it, giving a very detailed faculty development program, and go ahead, training, retraining, and participate in the college's workshop and webinars that we will conduct specifically for, and also our research in these areas, so that the college has another source from where they will know what is up and running in the industry. So this is how we will do. So we will not run the lab. We will be primarily facilitating in running the lab and making sure that students are able to do the experiments. Believe you me, the operational manual is so comprehensive and so easy to understand. It will be very easy for the students to run the entire lab. The faculty obviously will be handling them, and to that extent, we will be training the faculty. Any other question, Rajeshji?
One question is how you define the suitable course curriculum and training. Question is there, sir. One question is coming.
Okay. How do you define the suitable course curriculum and training to students? Okay, what I'm not able to understand is training to students. We are not defining. There are experiments which are all defined, which you can do. So they will learn the operational manual and start working on the experiments. The faculty would be trained. They will facilitate to handhold the child in the initial few sessions. If necessary, we would also have some kind of initial few sessions if necessary, but most of the times we have seen that today's children can very comfortably, and the kit that we have made is so simple that, children can actually do much detailed projects rather than, struggle with the basics. And as far as curriculum is concerned, we have very consciously and very assiduously sat down and gone through the course curriculum defined at the AICT level and also in India in various institutions which is practicing IoT, discussed with them, shared our coverage with them, and took feedback. It went through a back and forth iteration, and then we have come to a conclusive solution. Having said this space is not a fixed space. There would be variations coming about, and we will be the first to make those changes. If it is a curriculum-driven change, we will do it. If it is an industry demand-based change, we will do it. Students have to gain. That will be our motto. Thank you.
Any questions, please ask.
On daily basis, it will be run by the faculty and people assigned specifically from the staff side to run a lab like any other lab is run.
Any questions, sir? No more questions, sir, no, I think.
Okay. Thank you all. Thank you, Mr. Rajesh Jha, for this lovely afternoon. And it was a pleasure interacting with all the people, and not so much of interaction, but I would have really appreciated if any one of you had just told me that slides are not moving. Anyhow, I hope I made some justice to this entire session.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for all time.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.